What is up, Midway Mayhem fans? This is Dan, and we are checking back in from SeaWorld Orlando, and today is a special day because we were given permission to do a hard hat construction tour of Icebreaker, the new roller coaster coming here soon. There's a lot to see and do. Let's go!
You want to say Jessica? Either way. Yeah, you want to say Jessica.
Can I stay about 5 more minutes for stragglers?
They said you take this on somebody on quarter. What's overhead? We cleared a path for everybody. We're just trying to make sure, stick to that path. We want to make sure that you're not going off on other spots. You got for open ruts or things like that. It's not going to be a flat surface all the time. We'll be walking on some dirt and everything, and just look out for any kind of hazards. But if you have any questions on that, feel free to come talk to me. But we're going to leave you all.
Alright, so we're in the queue area, about to head up to the station.
No idea.
So here we are, we're heading into the station now.
Stay warm. Watch your step, though. Everybody okay over there? All good? Okay. Welcome to Icebreaker Hard Hat Tour. How are ya? I ordered up some cold weather for you. I promise this is the last cold weather joke we'll make, but thank you very, very much for being here, for your patience. Just a couple of housekeeping items, and then I'm going to hand everything over to Brian Andrelzik, who is going to really walk you through the attraction, and then he's going to get out there with you and show you the key elements of the ride. Couple things, please, if you weren't able to hear prior to coming in without the microphone, please be safe. That's very important to us, safety first. So please keep your hats on, your glasses on, your vest. Those of you who don't have vests, just sit tight. I'm bringing them to you. And watch your head. I know I saw one guy ding his head already.
Especially on the way down.
So watch your head on the way down. The other thing is, this is what we're going to do. After Brian talks, we're going to divide you into two groups. And it's volunteer. Those of you who are going to capture assets here and want to walk around the site but do not feel like you need a stand-up one-on-one interview with Brian or Abe, who can do interviews in Spanish, you're welcome to go in the first wave. He'll escort you through. You can look at the attraction, and you'll be escorted out the gate for departure. Those of you who would like a stand-up interview or a little bit of extra time with Brian, we ask that you stay behind for the second group, and then we will do those at the conclusion of the tour. Okay? So I'm going to hand it over to Brian. Thank you very much. All right.
Hi there, everybody. Thank you again for coming. I'm Brian Andrelzik. I'm the VP of Design and Engineering here at SeaWorld, and we are really excited to have you out here on Icebreaker's construction site. So we have made a lot of progress, as you can see. There is a coaster that's appeared here in the last couple of months, and we're wrapping the construction up here for our Spring 2020 opening. So what we wanted to do today was kind of point out some of the key features of the ride now that they're up and you can see them, and sort of talk about what we're doing here on site right now. So we're standing in the ride station. You guys are all in the loading area right now, so you'd be standing right behind those air gates as the train pulls in and you get ready to ride. We are wrapping up the station. As you can see, we have our electrical in place, and now we're working on lighting and paint and just those finishing touches that are really going to bring this out and be looking great. So you can see the ride track behind me, but one of the key features of the ride that you might not really think about is this transfer track right here, our switch track. So this is a high-speed switch. It's a pretty unique feature from a roller coaster standpoint. So this is going to take you horizontal over onto our transfer track, and it's going to allow us to run two trains with a forwards and backwards launch. So once your train pulls out and you roll onto the launch track back here, You'll start out with a backwards launch, and that backwards launch is going up this way. It's going to head up the beyond vertical reverse spike, and that reverse spike is tilted at 100 degrees. That's beyond vertical, and that's the steepest drop on any coaster in Florida, so that's really exciting. So it's 4 launches, so this launch track is going to be busy. You're going to go backwards, backwards, and forwards once more, hitting 52 miles an hour. Now the exciting feature of this launch that makes it a little different than most is we have an airtime hill on either side. So there's one over here, and you can see this one low one over here. So each one of those hits on the launch is going to be a little more powerful as the airtime goes, finally culminating in a nice pop of airtime here. As we crest up and over our top hat, that's an 80-foot tall element right there, and a near vertical drop off of it. So heading up in, you're going to get really great airtime in the front seat. Heading down off, you're going to get great airtime in the back seat. Now once you get off of that element, you see all these low-to-the-ground airtime hills. There's lots of twists, turns, high-banked corners. You can see where the track ends right now. We're in the process of just wrapping up the concrete on the other side in our back house area, and we'll be wrapping up that track real soon here. And then our return run that comes down here, kind of weaving its way in between columns. It's a lot of really close kind of head chopper moments as you run through there and up into our brakes here. One of the cool features about this attraction is just how tight of a construction site it is. You can see this is the launch track right here, inches from the station. So as riders exit the attraction and go down our exit ramp right here, they're going to have a coaster within inches of them, you know, shooting by, launching 4 times. It's going to be a really kind of cool feature, really interactive. Down here, we're going to walk a little bit later. You can see our pathway that's getting formed back up. This is the pathway that was here before the construction started. And this is going to take you right underneath of that beyond vertical reverse spike. So you're going to be able to see that from a whole new angle, look right up at people that are looking straight down at you, and have a really, really fun time on the ride. So what you see here is just part of the story, because the underground of all this area is a really big undertaking, and that's what takes a lot of the time during this construction process. So there's a lot of concrete underneath of these. You can see the various footers that are popping up. That's just part of the overall foundation, which could be as big as 12 by 12 for some of these individual footers, or even larger for others. And there's a lot of electrical involved. So this building right over here is our electrical room, and all of the electrical cabinets for the ride come out of there and feed all of the launch components. Each of these white spikes that you see out here, these white fins, those are called LSM launch stators. So those are what actually propel the train, the magnets that are on the train, to launch this ride back and forth. So it's a really heavy utility project. There's a lot of underground piping, there's a lot of electrical, there's a lot of pneumatic piping, and everything comes together to create this exciting ride. On the way in, you walk through our queue line, so that is the former dining area for the Mango Joe's restaurant, which we will have additional seating there, but we'll also have our queue space here. Our interactives talking about the Alaska Sea Life Center, our conservation partner for the ride, and the new entrance over here on the side. So part of the relaunched Wild Arctic Plaza will be home to Icebreaker here. So what we'll do now is we will go do our quick tours here. So we'll split up into 2 groups and look at a couple of different areas. We're going to go look at the launch, or at the spike. We're going to go look at the top hat and some of the low to the ground elements, so you can get an idea of scale and just how big a coaster track is, because you might not get that idea from standing out here where we are. So we'll split into groups, and then we'll go down. We'll come back up for the second group, and then you feel free to ask any questions on that tour, as we're going. All right, thank you.
So Brian did already get the question, where is the piece of track that we signed if we were here at the Icebreaker announcement in October? It's right over there to my left, and Brian is going to show you when you're walking around. So don't worry, you'll be able to see it a little bit closer too and see your signature on the ride. Okay, great.
All right, so here's the panel area. We can see some of the tubing for electrical. There's going to be a panel up on the wall right here. And the physical ride panel will be right there, looking out towards the train. Not a bad view either. stuff over in China. And now we're moving on to the second part. This is part of the pathway. Right here you can see some of the forms up.
So can you talk a little bit about how this adds to the portfolio here at SeaWorld Orlando?
Sure, so it's a really varied collection. We have a unique and interesting set of roller coasters. You know, Mantar flying roller coaster, Mako, our tallest and fastest, Kraken, our floorless coaster. So this is the family thrill component, which bridges the gap from something like Super Grovers, Soapbox Derby Racers to Journey to Atlantis to this at a 48-inch tall rider height requirement. It kind of bridges that gap to the big rides, so the whole family can enjoy this, and it still has that thrilling elements. The teens, the adults that are looking for that exciting thrilling element aren't going to be disappointed when the kids can ride too.
And it's got the height, but it also has a lot of low parts as well.
And one of the cool features of the low to the ground elements is that it enhances the feeling of speed. So especially towards the back area, and as you walk out, you'll see some of that low to the ground track. You're going to see that grass whizzing by you, and it really is going to make you feel like you're moving even faster than the 52 miles an hour.
And is there one element that you think families are really going to enjoy?
I am super excited for the Airtime Hills on the launch. So this little hill right here, and the little hill on the other side, each time you take that from each launch, it's going to get a little bit stronger. So I think that's going to be fun as a coaster enthusiast. That gets me excited.
How many feet from the ground is it on the lowest point of the track?
So the lowest point of the track is within just a couple of feet. So as you stand over there, probably 4 feet off the ground, it comes right chest height.
Brian, what was one of the more challenging aspects of this build so far?
It absolutely has to be the site construction. So this is a very tight construction site. You'll see how close the ride track is to other elements of the ride, such as the pathways or the exit or the station. So we really had to phase our construction. So we started at one point, worked to another point, and had to kind of back our way out.
under there right as the video dies.
Project of 256, it's basically the glass building in front of that body.
I haven't been back in like 8 months.
Luckily, airplane's going too well. It's been going pretty fine without me.
I'm actually more excited than when I've seen it.
So as you can see right here, a lot of the foundations are wrapping up the back portion of the ride. Won't be too much longer. We'll have some supports and track up. Well guys, that's going to do it for our video here from SeaWorld Orlando, and I do want to say thank you to them for inviting us out to check out the progress. Everything is going very well, and a lot of the track is wrapping up right now. It won't be too much longer. We'll see some testing, and then butts in the seats. We're going to have more videos from here, so if you like what we do, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter at Midway Mayhem, and I will see you out on the Midway.